Live your motherfucking life. You gotta get your motherfucking hustle. Understand niggas is gonna hate you regardless. Get that out of your head, that fantasy world where niggas ain't hating on you. You gotta be grateful. You need haters. What the fuck is you complaining about? What the fuck do you think a hater's job is? To fucking hate. So let them motherfuckers do their goddamn job. What the fuck is you complaining about? Ladies, if you got 14 women hating on you, you need to figure out how the fuck to get to 16 before the summer get here. The fuck is you mad about?
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me chit chat video. So let me tell you about the journey of this chit chat video. I have tried to sit down and film a chit chat video like 2 times, and each and every time I either kept forgetting to talk because like I guess when I do my makeup I'm just like very concentrated and I'm just very focused, and so I just would forget to talk. And then the second time, or if it's not me forgetting to talk, I'm either talking like too much and it's just a mess. It didn't flow that well. So we're gonna try this again for like the 13th time and we're gonna get it right, get it tight this time because this has been a requested video. So today I'm going to be doing a look that was inspired by the YouTuber Holly Boon. I recreated her look that she used using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and some people were asking me like, how did I do that? Because you know she's fair, she's a lot lighter than me. Obviously she's white and I'm black, so obviously. Before we hop into it though, I'm just gonna let you know I am not a makeup professional. I am not a makeup pro. I still consider myself a beginner. I'm like in the beginner intermediate kind of area. I'm still learning how to blend eyeshadow and how to make all those fancy eye looks, and I'm also still trying to figure out what to do with my brows because my brows are just naturally thick, and so I need to get them done. Like I need to get them arched or whatever, but for now I just try to make do with what I have. So if my brows look a little wonky, you're more than welcome to leave constructive criticism. So anyhow, I'm gonna stop talking and we're going to get into this video that has been taking me forever to film. So first I'm gonna be using this Wet n Wild Photo Focus face primer to prep my face for a foundation. So now I'm not going to forget to talk. I'm going to remind myself that I'm supposed to talk and not look at the viewfinder like I like to do. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, first of all, let's start off with Jay-Z's new album, 444. So it took me forever to actually be able to listen to the album from beginning to end because, of course, you know, true Jay-Z and Beyonce fashion, you know, they like to make shit exclusive. So us peasants over here who don't have title are like basically trying to find highways and byways to listen to that album. And I was so upset because I downloaded Tidal. I like signed up for the trial or whatever for like the 3rd time. And it still was like, oh, you gotta have Sprint to listen to this album. So be gone. A couple of days ago was the first time I actually was able to listen to the album from beginning to end. So now for foundation, I'm going to be using this foundation from Maybelline. It's the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the color 355 Coconut. I'm pretty sure we are all very familiar with this foundation. It's definitely an oldie but a goodie, and so I use this to get my face together. And then I use this, it's dirty, I'm sorry. I use this brush that I got from the beauty supply store. It's a dupe of those really expensive, is it Opal? I think that's what the brand is called, but it's a dupe of this. It's not, obviously it doesn't, you know, it's not the same quality as it would be with the $300, $500 whatever brush set, but it still gets the job done. So anyways, I just add a little bit of the foundation to the brush. Wow, that's not a little bit. Okay, now it's a little bit. honestly, I was shocked to find out that Jay-Z like blatantly admitted to having like marital issues with Beyonce, and just out and open like confirming that he did in fact cheat on her, because this has been a speculation for quite some time. And of course, after Lemonade drop, you know, the people just were just like really like, oh my god, is it true? Is it true? No, Jay-Z wouldn't cheat on her. Like, who would cheat on Beyonce? And that's a valid question, because who in the hell would cheat on Beyonce? Like, do I need to explain why? Like, Beyonce. You know, I personally didn't want to believe it, even though I would watch Lemonade and I would just be like, she's way too convincing. And y'all know Beyonce can't act, so she was very convincing in Lemonade, the film, that is. And like, especially in the scene Don't Hurt Yourself, I could feel her fury. I was like, she ain't acting. Like, this ain't no portrayal of nothing. Like, homegirl is speaking from her spirit, and I felt it. I felt it in my soul, okay? So I I kept trying to be in denial. I was like, nah, she just like, maybe she's just talking about, you know, her father. This is a well-known fact that her father had an affair on her mother and had a child on her too. So I mean, you know, that's a well-known fact. But I guess I just didn't want to believe that Jay-Z would continue the cycle of infidelity. But I was wrong, and Jay-Z confirmed it on this album. And honestly, I also, besides Lemonade, if you listen to Resentment and you see her performance, she is, and if you're unfamiliar, I guess I'll play a clip. No, I'm not, because I don't know, because even if it's 30 seconds, I don't know. You don't know how they are about their music, which I respect, but good Lord Jesus. So, anywho, but go and listen to the song Resentment, and then go watch a couple of Beyonce's performances where she's singing Resentment, and each time she is emotional. Like, she is crying emotional. And I'm just like, and basically the song is talking about how her man has, you know, oh, my bad. See, look at me doing it again. Okay, so I'm using concealer. I'm using Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Amande. I use this to conceal under my eyes. And then I'm going to be using LA Girl Pro Conceal in the color Warm Honey. And I'd use this to highlight the middle of my face. So now let me talk music-wise. I thought it was a strong album. I don't really have any complaints about the album musically. Like, it sounded like it's a very solid album. And honestly, like, I was saying that Kendrick Lamar's, his album, I'm using this brow pencil from Jordana, and it's just in the color brown. It's just in the color brown. But I use this to fill in my eyebrows. Also, I let my concealer dry for a bit before I blend it out. And I learned this trick from Jaclyn Hill. I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with her. She's a really popular beauty guru on YouTube. But yeah, I learned this trick from her, and it actually really does work. Like, it does give you more coverage than if you would to like just go in right after you put on the concealer. So I just let it sit while I do my brows, and then after I'm done doing my brows, then I blend it out. But yeah, just music wise, it was a good album. It sounded like you could tell he's evolved as a person listening to the album. Simply musically, like, even though the content definitely shows growth, just musically it sounded very like mature. You know, like, it sounded like, you know, like it sounded like it came from a seasoned rapper is what I'm trying to say. But anyways, the album was really great. I love the samples that he used. I love how he used them. They're very smart. I like that the album was not that long. I was like, you know, Kendrick Lamar, who's one of my favorite rappers, if you know me, you know this is a well-known fact. But Kendrick Lamar, I consider his Damn album the best hip-hop album from this year so far. But after hearing Jay-Z's album, I'm kind of like, I don't know, Damn might have some competition, because that was a really good album. Because for me, Damn weak spot was conceptually, conceptually compared to his past albums, it was pretty weak in my opinion. Like also another thing, I was very surprised with how personal this album was, because you know Beyonce and Jay-Z are both just very private people, so I was surprised to hear the album be so like in depth. I don't know, like it was like we go from not even knowing anything pretty much about their relationship besides what they put out and what they portray to basically knowing everything. So I don't know, but overall I enjoyed Jay-Z's album. Now this is what is bothering me about the buzz around Jay-Z's album. Of course, you know, people, when it comes to black women, people like to romanticize how much, you know, abuse we take and that's how valuable we are as people. I'm using a beauty blender, I'm using a beauty blender to blend out this concealer. But you know, people like to use how much abuse a black woman can take, or just women in general, but it's very unique for black women. But you know, people like to measure our value by how much abuse that we can take. For example, if you talk to any average straight black guy and you ask him, what do you love about black women? It's usually along the lines of like, oh, I love them because, like, you know, we don't really be there for them like we should, but you know, they still ride for us. Or they be like, I love black women because they go through so much, but yet and still they're so strong, and like, oh, we put them through so much, but they're still here. Like, it's just like, wow, that's why y'all love us. Like, it's not because we're like smart, smart, dynamic group of people. It's because we're your punching bags, basically. So you see how sick that sounds. So that's my issue with like people's commentary around the album, is let me be specific, black men, or just men in general, have just been using it as an excuse to basically be like, you see, Beyonce put up with all that, so I mean, y'all can put up with it too, ride or die, ho. And I'm just like, okay, listen, I'm not Beyonce, and you know, no one can ever be Beyonce. Beyonce is Beyonce, but you know, besides her being fantastic as a performer, she's also her own person. And so, you know, just because Beyonce put up with that, I don't have to. Yeah, now I blended out the concealer. Now I'm going to clean up my eyebrows with the same concealer I used to highlight. So yeah, that was my issue with things that people were saying. I was just like, y'all, stop. But Jay-Z really did put Beyonce through a lot, and listening to his album and then going back and listening to Lemonade is a lot. Because now that you know that what she's saying is from a personal place, for sure, like, not saying that, and people are like, well, Beyonce been said it, but of course y'all take a man's word over a woman. But you know how Beyonce is, like, you know, she's just very elusive, and you just like, I don't know, she talking about herself, she's talking about somebody, you know, she's just performing or whatever. So, and just because, you know, someone is singing about something doesn't mean that it's something that they're actually going through. So, I mean, you know, but I was just like, I don't know, bruh, I don't know. But this, Jay-Z blatantly said, yeah, no, I'm talking about Beyonce. I'm talking about Beyonce. I'm talking about our marriage. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He stated specific things, like, blatantly said it. And Beyonce was just like, you know, you can interpret it however you want, basically. Like, but I'm gonna give you a whole bunch of clues that tell you, yes, this is a personal thing. But to have that confirmation that it was about their marriage, it just makes Lemonade even more impactful. It just makes it even more powerful and such an emotional album. I know Lemonade had to be therapy for Beyonce. Like, I think now listening to Jay-Z's album, I think Lemonade was more for her than it was for us. And that's totally fine, because I totally respect that, you know. Because I think people forget that, yeah, you know, it's their job to entertain us, but they're also people, and music was there for them before we even knew about them. And so music is their medium, music is their therapy, and I think people should respect that, because we tend to treat celebrities and artists in general as like these robots that are just made to push out content for us to consume. So it's also important to humanize your faves, you know. So and then I'm using this brush from this BH Cosmetics brush set that I got. Every brush that I use is from that brush set, unless I say otherwise. But yeah, so now I can't even listen to Lemonade without getting emotional. I'm just like, yo, this is too much. I can't even listen to Resentment now because I'm like, I know she's talking about herself for real this time. Because like, if you notice, sometimes she edits the number of years. And like, she says, I've been with you for 6 years. Or sometimes she'll edit it and change the number of years. And it all adds up. And I'm just like, oh dear. Oh Lord Jesus. Because, and this is a really great example to show that just because someone is amazing, a woman is great and amazing, you know, to the point that she, you know, just because she's Beyonce doesn't mean that she can't get cheated on. And that's not to say that there's something wrong with her as a person. That just shows that people are going to do what they want to do at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter how amazing you are, you cannot control someone else's actions. So it's not her fault that he cheated. It's completely his fault that he cheated, because men are very capable of self-control. I know we don't like to say that or like to, you know, believe that, but men are capable of self-control, and they make their own choices, and so they should be held accountable for the choices that they make. So, and I'm glad that Jay-Z was holding himself accountable throughout that album, especially in Kill Jay-Z, which is the first song. And he's basically dragging himself. So, I mean, it's glad, you know, it's not like Jay-Z is putting out this information like, yeah, I put her through all this bullshit and there it is. Like, he's saying, I put her through all this, but I deeply regret it, and I'm growing from it, and I've learned from it, and so on and so forth. So I think that's important to note, because some dudes are taking it as, oh, you know, Jay-Z ain't shit. So, I mean, not that was stopping them before, but like, you know, they're like, really, we don't really gotta be shit now. So no, Jay-Z is saying, yeah, I did this, and I wouldn't suggest you do it either, because it almost ruined my life. So stop. Like, Jay-Z even said that he felt like he was responsible for Beyonce miscarrying so many times, and I'm just like, oh my god. Like, I was just like, Jesus, take the wheel. Good Lord. I was like, that was a lot. That was a lot. That line gave me chills. I was like, wow, you really weren't shit. So yeah. He also mentioned, you know, it took Blue, their daughter, being born for him to realize that he was treating Beyonce wrong and that he should value their marriage. And I'm just like, it took you that long, fam? Really? That long to value marriage? Okay. I mean, I guess better late than never, but Lord have mercy. I don't know. So, yeah, that was a lot. But I definitely commend Jay-Z for being the bigger person and for coming forward about his part. You know, my dad was like, you know, it's kind of be awkward if he didn't have some type of response to Lemonade, because that was a very powerful album that was very personal, as we can see. And if Jay-Z don't say nothing, and we're kind of like, so we gonna act like that never happened. So that's all. That's pretty much all I have to say about the Jay-Z and Beyonce album situation. Shout out to Jay-Z for growth and accountability. I hope other young men take him as an example, and I hope it doesn't take y'all getting to damn near 50 years old to realize that. Lord have mercy. Now I'm going to contour using this Morphe palette. Oh, my bad. See, I'm so bad at this. I am baking my face with the LA Girl Pro Powder, translucent powder. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to contour the Morphe 350 palette. And I'm going to be using these two, you can see, these two eyeshadows. This one right here and then this one up here. I mixed them together. So, yeah. So, now about this Blac Chyna and, what's the face? Rob Kardashian's hot ass mess that's happening right now. You know what? I'm not even interested in talking about the relationship. You know, I'm not interested in talking about the allegations that have been brought up about her cheating and I don't want to talk about that. What I really want to, because we're gonna be sitting here all day. We're already sitting here, you know, for quite some time. So, what I do want to talk about is the revenge porn aspect of the whole situation with Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna. And what I mean by revenge porn is basically when someone violates someone else's like personal things, such as nudes that they send. When you post someone's nudes without their consent, that is considered revenge porn, and that is illegal. And that is illegal in the state of California. So yikes. I'm gonna also dust away this translucent powder with this fluffy brush from the BH Cosmetic brush set that I have. I don't let it sit for too long because then it looks, I mean, to be honest with you, this powder is okay. I use it because I just trying to get the hang of baking, so you know, so it's cheap. So I was like, let me practice baking before I go and invest in like a Laura Mercier powder or whoever have you before I, you know, splurge. So I use this one, but honestly, it kind of makes me look white, like down here. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I don't know how I feel about it quite yet. It's okay. It's not terrible, but I feel like there's probably better out there. I don't know. Anywho, but yeah. So what happened with Blac Chyna and what's his face is basically Rob Kardashian. I'm informing people who don't know. Basically, Rob Kardashian came onto Instagram. It was basically airing out him and Blac Chyna's like personal business. He talked about how she cheated on him, how she used him for a come up, even though she was famous before him. And he said that she basically used him for, you know, clout and money, and she had a child with him out of spite. I'm also priming my eyes with the same LA Girl concealer. This is a very multi-purpose concealer, but I also use it to prime my eyelids for eyeshadow. I don't use a primer because I think it's just cheaper just to use this than to buy a whole new, you know, eye primer. And I'm going to use this flat brush from the brush set to blend it out. So, that's what Rob Kardashian was doing. He was basically accusing Chyna of using him and for using his family to get attention and so on and so forth. He accused her of cheating on him, using his money to splurge on other men, so on and so forth. It was just very messy. And it was entertaining, I guess, up to the point that he said he posted Blac Chyna's nudes that were supposed to be for his view only. And so that is pretty much my main issue with this whole entire thing. Now I'm going to be taking the same translucent powder and a fluffy brush, and I'm going to set this concealer on my eyes with it. Oh dang it. But yeah, so what I want to talk about is the whole revenge porn aspect, because that's pretty much the only objective thing that is happening in this situation. So, you know, revenge porn is illegal in the state of California. So Rob Kardashian did break the law when he posted Blac Chyna's nudes without her consent. And so she is going through with legal action, as she should. I commend her for that. And people, of course, are being assholes about this whole entire situation because they're basically like, she's a stripper. And so why is it a big deal if he posts her nudes without her permission? I mean, it's not like we haven't seen her naked before anyway. And this is how you know people don't understand consent. I'm going to be using the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. So the only Did I have it the right way? Oh, this way. I'm using this palette, Jaclyn Hill's Morphe palette. The only concern or, you know, issue that I have is that the palette is white. And I mean, it's nice in theory, but realistically, some of us, you know, have, you know, foundation on our fingers like I do now. And so it gets on the palette and it messes it up. And I feel bad because it's such a nice, it's so, you know, it's packaged nicely, but at the same time, I'm just like, it's inconvenient. Alright, so I'm going to go in with this color right here for my transitional color. So I'm going to use a fluffy brush from the same palette, same brush set that I had before, and I'm going to blend it into my crease like so. And so I would suggest, if you want like a really in-depth tutorial on this look, I'm going to link her tutorial down below so you can just get the makeup like straightforward. But if you don't want to hear me talk. But yeah. So that was my issue with the whole thing, is that people are basically like, well, she's a stripper, so who cares? Like, she used to strip for a living, so people have seen her naked before, so why is it a big deal if Rob Kardashian posts her nudes? And I'm just like, that's not the same. That's not the same, because this is how I know people don't understand consent, because just because a woman has said yes times before does not mean that she cannot say no now. Okay, just because Blac Chyna in the past has chosen for herself to strip for a living, to post herself half naked or whatever she does, like, just because she chose to do that does not mean that that gives someone else the right to post her nudes without her permission, because it is her body. I don't understand why this is so difficult for people to grasp. It doesn't mean that, you know, just because she posts her own nudes doesn't mean that someone else can post her nudes, because it's not their body, it's hers. And she's the only one who, you know, who runs her body and decides what, you know, how she wants her body to be put out there. And then I'm going to be taking this color right here, this like red orangey color, and I'm going to be putting that in my crease as well. So yeah, it's not the same. I don't understand why people are trying to twist it like that. You know for a fact that, you know, just because a woman has said yes before doesn't mean that she's, you know, saying yes now. And this is a very, you know, this is an example of rape culture. And people are like, what does this have to do with rape? Like, y'all feminists always make everything about rape. Oh my God. Like, so this is how it has something to do with rape. Okay, rape culture is not, when people hear the word rape culture, they become very fixated on the word rape, and they just hone in on that, and they completely ignore the culture aspect of it. Rape culture is basically the examination of how we normalize sexual assault and how we create a climate and a culture that allows sexual assault to happen, and how we enable it, essentially. So just because someone, they themselves, is not a rapist, obviously, does not mean that they are not guilty of perpetuating a mentality that enables sexual assault. For example, when we grow up, we are also taught, like, you know, little boys are taught to be persistent when it comes to like getting little girls' attention. Like, you know, boys are taught, like, you know, girls like persistency. We like when dudes are like, you know, don't stop even though I say no. Like, we you know, we normalize that to the point where when a woman really wants you to stop, I mean, in his head he thinks go, because that's what we've been, you know, brought to believe. So there's different things that we do to enable rape culture, or like how we like to say, like, well, what were you wearing, when a woman comes forward about being sexually assaulted, as if her clothes has anything to do with her being sexually assaulted, as if women aren't also sexually assaulted fully clothed. So it's just a lot. Rape culture is a very complex subject, as you can see, and it's not something I can really break down in depth in a get ready with me makeup video or whatever. So, or the fact of the matter is, the situation that's happening with Blac Chyna is a very great example of rape culture. Basically saying, like, just because, you know, it's okay. I'm also taking, sorry, see, I'm doing it again. I'm taking this color right here, and I'm using it on a flat brush that I got it from my stepmom. I'm not sure where she got this flat brush from, but she gave it to me. So any flat brush will do for this, so don't worry. So I'm going to pack this color onto my lids like so. Boop, boop. You see? So, I think for like deeper skin tones, like the palette is pigmented, but I'm not going to lie. It does kind of take a bit for me to build it up on me, per se. Like, I don't know if it's the brushes I'm using, if I'm not using the right brushes, but like I see other people swatch them and they're so pigmented with like one swipe, and I'm just like, it kind of takes me a minute to build up the color, which is nice that, you know, it's buildable, but I don't know, for me it's not like just one swipe and it's like all this, you know, rich color or whatever. I have to build it up. As you see, like, it's not all that pigmented right now, so I have to build up the color. But yeah, what people don't understand is that is, you know, it is rape culture, because you're essentially saying, like, you know, it's fine for someone else to violate her privacy or violate her agency over her own body. So now that I packed the color onto my lids, I'm also going to go back with this reddish burnt orange-ish color, and I'm going to blend this out some more. So the reason why the Blac Chyna Rob Kardashian situation with the revenge porn is a great example of rape culture is the fact that people are denying Blac Chyna agency over her body. They're basically saying that, you know, because she has, you know, she's put herself out there before, that, you know, why does it matter if Rob Kardashian puts her out in the same way? Basically what you're saying is, you know, you're basically denying the fact that in the previous times that Blac Chyna has put herself out there like that, it's because she chose to do so. No one else decided to do that for her but herself. She had agency in those situations. But in this situation with Rob Kardashian, she was denied agency over her body and how she would like to put herself out there, because he violated that by posting those nudes without her permission. So when you are basically saying that consent is just like a negotiable thing, that is a side effect of rape culture. So now I'm still packing on, I'm going to pack on some more of that teal color that I used before. And I'm going to place this on my lid. Now my battery is saying that it's going to die. I'm going to go play in traffic. I'm so tired of this, okay? And then I'm going to take the color, the red orange color, some more, and blend it out a little bit more in the crease, like so. Now I'm going to take this brush right here, this flat kind of brush, and I'm going to take that same teal color and I'm going to put it on my lower lash line, like so. I want to talk about how people are demonizing strippers in this situation. They're basically like, people have been like, well, Rob, you married or you were with a stripper, so why are you surprised that she cheated on you or that she supposedly did you wrong? And I think that's interesting that people say that, because what does her being a stripper have to do with her as a person in a relationship? And the reason why people are tying it back to her being a stripper is because people typically associate a woman's morality or, you know, a woman's morals with her sexuality. People believe that if a woman is sexually active, then, you know, that means that she's essentially a bad person. Because to them, you know, our sexuality and how we conduct ourselves sexually is a reflection of who we are as a person. It's not even a reflection of who we are. That's who they think we are as people. People typically reduce a woman down to her sexuality and deny her personhood. for being, you know, a sexual human being, are basically like, isn't it logical to think that she's a bad person because she strips? So because someone takes off their clothes for a living, that means that they're a bad person. You see how shallow this is? Like, you see how shallow all this line of thinking is? For example, a woman could be the president of the United States of America and she can still be a shitty person. She can be clothed from head to toe. She can not have sex for like 40 days and 40 nights. She could be reserving herself for her husband or some shit like that. And she will still be an asshole. Because you know why? Because our sexuality as women and us as people have no correlation. So, I mean, it's not that hard to grasp. Like, just because Blac Chyna is a stripper or was a stripper doesn't mean that she inherently is a grimy person. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's such a rude, shitty ass thing to say about somebody. You know, I'm going to take this flat brush, like so, this flat brush, and I'm going to take this color right here, this one, and I'm going to pack it onto the middle of my lens, just to give it a little bit more oomph. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? So that was my whole issue with the Blac Chyna shit, is that people were basically saying like, I mean, Rob, why is you surprised your girl is a stripper? So yeah, she gonna be, you know, unfaithful or whatever. That doesn't make sense. A girl don't gotta be a stripper to be unfaithful. You know how many mod hoes that are out here who are who are sucking and fucking over their man and ain't got shit to do with her, how she wear her clothes or wherever the fuck she does for a living. So I really need people to understand that a woman's morality is not a reflection, a woman's sexuality is not a reflection of our morality, because a girl can be a stripper and be the nicest person in the world. But do you guys really care about that? Because I don't think people actually care about that. I think people are just more concerned about, you know, imagery and just controlling women's bodies. I don't really think people actually give a fuck about, you know, if someone's a good person. Then I'm taking this color right here, and I am packing it into my inner eyes just to add some more oomph. Okay, give it to me. I'm such a fucking goofball. Anyways, I'm trying to like dial it back. But yeah, so I'm glad Blac Chyna is going through with getting legal action, because Rob Kardashian definitely needs to get his ass handled, because him and his sisters be fucking wildin', okay? They just be trampling over people and just not think they about to be held accountable for the shit. Like, nah, you gonna catch this lawsuit today, ho, okay? I'm gonna take this brush. Again, all of these brushes are from the, I don't have autofocus on my camera, which is like really annoying, but I'm using this flat brush to go in with this whitish color right here. As you can see, I've used it before. And I've soiled it with the blue shadow, but I'm gonna go over the white, or I mean the lighter teal color, just to brighten it up some more in my inner eyes. Like so. Boom. Alright, awesome. Now we're done with the eyeshadow. Took a while. Go in with this eyeliner from Rimmel London. It's the Glam Eyes liquid black eyeliner, and I'm just gonna line my eyes with this. I get a lot of questions about how I line my eyes, and honestly I've been doing it since I was in high school, so I don't really think about it. But basically what I do is I just get the liner as close to my lash line as possible, and when I get to the actual wing part, I draw the triangle first, like the outline, if you can see, and then I fill it in. So I draw the triangle first and then I fill it in. That's basically all that I do. Now I don't want to come right because I'm in front of company, so it wants to act up. But that's basically how I line my lashes. Now I am going to put my lashes on. I'm going to be using these faux mink lashes. I think they're from Ardell. I got them a long time ago, so I don't remember you know, the exact name and all that, but I do know it was a faux mink lash, and I'm pretty sure it was from Ardell. But I'm going to be using these to spruce up my eyes, and I'm going to be using this dark tone duo eyelash glue. So that's what I'll be using to put on my lashes. But the Blac Chyna and the Rob Kardashian situation is really messy, and right now as we speak, Twitter is just losing their everlasting minds about this subject, because of course as you niggas are like, you know, she's a stripper, so of course it doesn't matter because we've already seen her naked and so on and so forth. She's a hoe, this, that, and the fourth. And I'm like, you do know hoes are allowed to have boundaries, you know? Hoes, by the way. Because if you follow me on Twitter, you know my stance on the slur hoe. It is a slur, so. It's a slur that is meant to make women feel bad for being sexual human beings. So, no, we're not going to get into that right now because then this video will be really long. But, yeah. So, if you want to see my thoughts about this type of stuff, I would suggest you just follow me on Twitter because that's where I really talk about it. My YouTube channel is kind of meant for me to be lighthearted and not as, you know, I don't know. Not so critical as I am on Twitter. So I put on the eyelash glue and I let it sit for like 30 seconds. I learned how to apply my eyelashes from Ashley D Beauty or Ashley Devana. I'll link her tutorial down below because I get asked a lot, like, how do you put on your lashes? And honestly, it's just so hard to explain, and it just takes practice. Like, you're not going to get it overnight. It's something that I had to do constantly to get the hang of. But yeah, the point of the matter is Blac Chyna is a person. She's a person who happens to have stripped in her past, and that doesn't mean that she doesn't have boundaries, that she's not allowed to have boundaries and have people respect her boundaries, and have people, you know, ask her for consent when they post her news. It's not the same thing as like her posting her own news is not the same thing as someone else going behind her back and posting it without her permission. Her body is not a free-for-all. Her body is hers. It's not that hard to get, y'all. It really. And I'm going to be going in with this the Colossal Big Shot Maybelline mascara, and I'm going to be applying that to my lashes. And I know there's people who apply the mascara before they put on the lashes, but my lashes are way too curly for that, and when I do that, it makes it very difficult for me to get behind my lashes and onto the lash line. So I wait till after I put on the lashes to put on mascara. And then when I apply the mascara, I take my fingers. You can use one of those like tweezers that are made for like putting on lashes, but you can use that to like mash your lashes and the false lashes together. That's how that's because my coworkers ask me all the time, like, how do you make your lashes look like they're coming from your actual eye? And this is one of those ways, is not only by making sure the lashes get, you know, as close to your actual lash line as possible, but also by like pushing them together so that they blend. Now I'm going to be going in with some highlighter. I'm going to be using Wet n Wild's Mega Glow highlighting powder in the color Crown of my Canopy. This is a really good dupe for Champagne Pop by Jaclyn Hill. And then I use the fan brush that comes in the brush set, and I'm going to use this to apply the highlighter. Okay, catch that. Do you catch that glow? Because I sure do. Boop. And then I'm going to take this NYX Intense Butter Gloss in the color Chocolate Crepe. And I'm going to apply this to my lips. If I can get it open. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with Wet n Wild's Photo Focus setting spray. I'm gonna spritz this on my face. This is the look. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you enjoyed my chit chat get ready with me video. Hopefully I didn't rant too much, because when I get to talking about like pop culture and feminism and that type of things, like, if you don't know, I'm a black feminist. If you follow me on Twitter and you found your way to my YouTube channel, you are very well aware of this fact. But if you're brand spanking new to me, that is a fun fact that you should probably know. But I am a self-identified black feminist or womanist, whichever have you. And so I'm just naturally very critical of things that happen in the world and how they relate to women, especially black women. But anywho, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!
Yeah.